Have you ever wondered how some people seem to enhance their creativity, focus, and productivity seemingly without effort? A curious question indeed. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the techniques these individuals may utilize: microdosing. Microdosing, in its simplest form, is the practice of consuming incredibly small, sub-perceptual amounts of psychedelic substances. Now, before you start imagining psychedelic tie-dye and Woodstock, let's clarify. These are not doses intended to induce hallucinations or profound altered states. Rather, they are minute quantities, often just a 10th or 20th of a recreational dose. This practice has its roots in indigenous cultures, where substances like psilocybin mushrooms and peyote have been used ceremonially for centuries. In recent years, however, microdosing has been adopted by a diverse group of modern-day pioneers, from Silicon Valley tech wizards to artists, writers, and everyday individuals seeking an edge in their personal and professional lives. The advocates of microdosing believe that these minuscule doses can enhance creativity, increase focus, and boost productivity. Imagine being able to tap into an untapped reservoir of mental acuity, or finding a wellspring of creative energy just waiting to be released. That is the promise of microdosing. But it's not just about work. Microdosers often report improved mood, better stress management, and increased empathy and social connection. It's like a subtle shift in perception, a gentle nudge towards a more vibrant, engaging, and balanced way of experiencing life. Of course, as with any practice that alters the mind, there's a fair amount of controversy and skepticism. There are legal and safety considerations, and the scientific research is still in its infancy. Yet the anecdotal reports are compelling, and the practice continues to gain traction. It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? But how does it work? Let's dive a bit deeper. So how does taking a tiny amount of a psychedelic substance affect the brain and the body? This might seem like a question for the cosmos, but in reality the answer lies in the fascinating world of neuroscience. Let's dive right in, shall we? Microdosing involves taking about 1/10 of the trip dose of a psychedelic substance. This could be LSD, psilocybin, or others. Now, these substances have a specific effect on our brain's chemistry. They interact with a type of neurotransmitter, the chemical messengers of our brain, known as serotonin. Serotonin has a notable role in regulating our mood, social behavior, appetite, digestion, sleep, memory, and even sexual desire. Psychedelic substances mimic serotonin and bind to its receptors, specifically the 5-HT2A receptor. This interaction leads to a variety of effects, from perceptual changes to shifts in thought and mood. But how does this relate to microdosing? Well, even in small doses, these substances can still bind to the serotonin receptors. This can lead to subtle but significant changes in how our brain functions. Some theories suggest that microdosing may amplify certain neural pathways.
With 10 different mushroom species packed into the most delicious gummies you've ever tried, this bottle has it all, including favorites like maitake, shiitake, lion's mane, reishi, and cordyceps. You'll experience a powerful blend of beneficial compounds that support healthy cognition and increased energy levels. These gummies are of the highest quality and efficacy, making them the perfect choice for anyone looking to perform at their best. Designed for a productive lifestyle, it's the easiest way to include all the benefits of mushrooms in your day.
Think of it like this. If your brain were a highway, microdosing would be like adding an express lane. This could potentially enhance focus and creativity by making the brain's information processing more efficient. Additionally, microdosing may also have an impact on what's known as brain plasticity. This is the brain's ability to form and reorganize synaptic connections, especially in response to learning or experience. Enhanced brain plasticity could potentially lead to improved learning and adaptability. So while you're not going to see kaleidoscope colors in your coffee, microdosing could subtly shift your perspective, enhance your mood, or even spark a burst of creativity. The science might seem complex, but the effects are undeniably intriguing. Now let's look at the effects of microdosing. What happens when you start microdosing? Do you immediately start seeing unicorns and rainbows? Well, let's dive right into it. The effects of microdosing are generally not as dramatic as one might assume. The term micro in microdosing is key, as it refers to taking substances in sub-perceptual amounts, often about 1/10 of a typical dose. This means that while the effects are real, they're subtle and often unnoticeable. So, no, you won't start seeing fantastical creatures or technicolor landscapes. Instead, what microdosing does is subtly alter your perception and cognition. It's like turning the dial up slightly on your mental radio, enhancing the reception but not blasting the volume. One of the most talked about benefits of microdosing is the boost in creativity. Many users report experiencing a heightened state of imagination, with ideas flowing more freely and connections forming more easily. This is why microdosing has gained popularity among artists, writers, and other creative professionals. Another reported effect of microdosing is a reduction in anxiety. Small doses of psychedelics can help to quiet the noise in our heads, allowing us to focus on the present moment. This can lead to a sense of calm and tranquility, making it easier to manage stress and navigate through life's challenges. Increased focus is another potential benefit of microdosing. With the noise of anxiety turned down, users often find it easier to concentrate on tasks at hand, whether it's a complex work project or a simple household chore. It's like having a mental spotlight that you can direct wherever you need it. But it's important to remember that everyone's experience with microdosing is unique. There's no one-size-fits-all effect, and your experience may vary based on a range of factors, including the substance used, the dosage, and your individual physiology and mindset. The effects sound promising, but are there any misconceptions about microdosing? With all the hype around microdosing, there are bound to be misconceptions, so what's the reality? Let's get one thing straight. Microdosing is not about getting high. It's about subtly enhancing your everyday life. When you microdose, you're taking about 1/10 of a typical dose. This is such a small amount that it doesn't cause the traditional psychedelic experience you might be picturing. Instead, it can bring about subtle changes in perception, mood, or cognition that are just enough to make a positive difference. Another myth is that microdosing is a shortcut to success. We've all heard the stories of Silicon Valley executives and creative professionals who swear by microdosing. But let's be clear, microdosing is not a magic pill. It's a tool that can help to enhance your focus, creativity, or emotional balance. But it doesn't replace hard work, dedication, and talent. It's like a good cup of coffee. It might help you feel more alert and focused, but it won't write that report or design that app for you. Some might also believe that microdosing is a new, untested phenomenon. This is far from the truth. While it has gained popularity recently, the concept of microdosing has been around for a long time. Indigenous cultures have been using plant medicines in small amounts for centuries, and modern science is just catching up. Then there's the myth that microdosing is risk-free. While many find it beneficial, it's not for everyone. Like any substance, it can have side effects, and it's important to approach it responsibly. Always do your research, understand your own physical and mental health, and consider seeking professional guidance. So let's bust these myths wide open. Microdosing doesn't give you a high, it's not a shortcut to success, it's not a brand new concept, and it's not risk-free. It's a tool for enhancement that requires understanding and respect. The truth about microdosing is as complex as it is fascinating. Now let's wrap up everything we've learned. We've journeyed through the mysterious world of microdosing. So, what have we learned? We've unveiled the enigma of microdosing, shedding light on this innovative practice. At its core, microdosing is the act of consuming minimal amounts of a psychedelic substance, typically 1/10 to 1/20 of a recreational dose. It's seen as a tool for enhancing creativity, productivity, and overall well-being, rather than a means for intense, mind-altering experiences. We've dived into the science behind microdosing, exploring how these tiny doses interact with our brain chemistry. We've learned that these substances, such as LSD or psilocybin, act on the serotonin receptors in our brain, potentially leading to an enhanced state of consciousness, improved mood, and increased cognitive flexibility. We've also discussed the effects of microdosing. While the experiences are subjective and vary from person to person, many users report positive changes in their day-to-day lives. These may include increased creativity, elevated mood, heightened focus, and improved problem-solving abilities. However, it's crucial to remember that microdosing is not a magic bullet, and the effects can vary based on numerous factors, including individual physiology and mindset. We've debunked some common myths surrounding microdosing. We've learned that microdosing doesn't lead to hallucinations or a trip, but rather a subtle shift in consciousness. We've also discussed that it's not a quick fix for mental health issues and should not replace traditional therapy or medication without professional guidance. In wrapping up our journey, it's essential to remember that while microdosing may hold promise for some, it's not for everyone. It's a personal journey of self-discovery, and what works for one person may not work for another. It's also crucial to approach it with an open mind, a healthy dose of skepticism, and a commitment to safety. Microdosing, a fascinating tool in the arsenal of self-improvement, is a journey of discovery, not a destination. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding the nuances of such practices can help us make informed decisions.
Often called the mushroom of the gods, lion's mane has a long history of medicinal use. This popular nootropic has been shown to enhance focus and increase cognition, helping you feel more productive and accomplished. Research studies have also shown that lion's mane is neuroprotective, giving you peace of mind as you power through your day. Try lion's mane and experience the mental clarity and productivity boost you've been missing.